פה אנחנו מתחילים מן המשנה על דף למד עמוד א'. רבי אלעזר בן עזריה אומר, אין תפילת המוספין אלא בחבר עיר. לפי רבי אלעזר בן עזריה מתפללים מוסף רק עם מניין. וחכמים אומרים בחבר עיר ושלא בחבר עיר. מתפללים בין אם יש מניין ובין שאין מניין. רבי יהודה אומר משמו, ורבי יהודה אומר בשם של רבי אלעזר בן עזריה, כל מקום שיש שם חבר עיר, כל מקום שיש חבר עיר, יחיד פטור מתפילת המוספין. רבי יהודה אומר, כל מקום שיש מניין, היחיד, the individual, לא צריך להתפלל תפילת מוספין. טוב, אז מתחילה הגמרא עם שאלה. רבי יהודה, היינו תנא קמא. רבי יהודה אומר אותו הדבר לתנא קמא. Rabbi Yehuda, this is the Tana Kama, right? They're both saying the same exact thing, right? They're both saying that you need to have a minyan to pray musaf. Ika beinaihu. This is the difference between them. Yachid shelo bechever ir. The difference between them is a yachid that lives in a city that does not have a minyan. Tana Kama Savar Patur, according to the Tana Kama, he says that you have to have a minyan of people to pray musaf. If you do not have a minyan of people to pray musaf, you're patur, you don't have to pray musaf. Rabbi Yehuda Savar Chayav. Rabbi Yehuda has the opinion that you're chayav, meaning if you don't have a minyan, you must pray by yourself. Amar Rav Huna bar Chinana, Amar Rabbi Chia bar Rav. Rav Huna bar Chinana said in the name of Rabbi Chia bar Rav, Halacha ki Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, Sha'amar mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, which is that you, as Umeret HaGemara kacha. As halacha ke Rabbi Yehuda, Shamar mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, which is that if you have a minyan, you don't have to say it only because the chazan is going to say it for you. But if you do not have a minyan, you must say it. Okay? Amarle Rav Chia bar Avin. Rav Chia bar Avin said, Shapir ka'amar. You're saying good. The Amar Shmuel, that Shmuel said, Miyamai, all the days of my life. Lo matzil natzlota de musafim biyachid. I never prayed musaf by myself. B'Nahar Da'ah, in the city of Nahar Da'ah, Levar, except for Hahu Yoma, that day, Da'ata Pulmusa de Malka, that the soldiers of the king came Lamata to the city, Ba'atridu Rabbanan, and they caused the rabbis problems. V'lo tzalu, and we didn't get together and have a minyan, right? And since there was no minyan that day, V'tzali li biyachid, I had to pray by myself, v'haveh, and I was a yachid shelo bechever ir. I was a yachid without a minyan. And we know according to Rabbi Yehuda that a yachid without a minyan has to pray musaf. Only if you have a minyan, then you could just hear it from the chazan and you're good, right? But if you don't have a minyan, then you must say the words by yourself. Yativ Rabbi Chanina Kara, Kemedo Rabbi Yanai. Rav Chanina, the master of Pesukim, was sitting in front of Rabbi Yanai. V'yativ, and he sat down. V'ka'amar, and he said, Halacha ka Rabbi Yehuda sha'amar mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Right? So Rabbi Chanina Kara said that the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. Apparently Rabbi Yanai didn't like that. Amar lei, because he said to Rabbi Chanina, Pok, get out. Pokra karecha levara, take your pisukim outside with you. De'ein halacha Rabbi Yehuda shamar mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. For the halacha is not like what Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Ani ra'iti et Rabbi Yanai. One time I saw Rabbi Yanai, the tzali, that he prayed Amidah, v'hadar tzali, and he prayed Amidah a second time right afterwards. So, Amar le Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Zeira. So, Rabbi Yirmiyah said to Rabbi Zeira, Vidilma, and maybe Meikara originally, Lo kiven da'ate. Maybe he originally didn't have kavanah, and that's why he did this. Right? So the first time he prayed, he did not have kavanah. The second time he prayed, he did have kavanah. Right? So Vidilma Meikara Lo kiven da'ate. In the beginning, he did not have kavanah. Ulevasof kiven da'ate. In the end, he did have kavanah. Amar le. So Rabbi Zeira said to Rabbi Yirmiyah, Chaziman gavra rabba dikim mesayidale. You should see what kind of a great man you're testifying against. Basically, so Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi, afal gav, even though tahavu lu tleisar be kanishta b'Tiveria, even though there were 13 shuls in Tiveria, lo havu matzlu, they did not pray ella except beine amude, between the pillars, heicha tahavu garse, where they would learn. Itmar, it was said, Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi mishum Rabbeinu, that Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi said in the name of Rabbeinu, and if you see in Rashi, it says over here, mishum Rabbeinu, that's Rav. So, they said in the name of Rav, Amar halacha Rabbi Yehuda, Sha'amar mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, who said in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that really everybody has to pray if you don't have a minyan, but if you do have a minyan, you could just hear the chazan and you're good. Rabbi Chia bar Abba, tzali v'hadar tzali. Rabbi Chia bar Abba would pray, right? He prayed one time and then he went back and prayed a second time. So Amar le Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera went to Rabbi Chia and he asked him, "My taima avid marhachi." What's the reason the master did this? Why did you do this twice? Ilema, if it's because mishum, because the lo kiven mar da'ate, if it's because the master didn't have kavanah, right? Maybe you prayed a second time because you didn't have kavanah the first time. But Amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar said, Lo olam yimod adam et atzmo. A person should always measure himself. Im yachol lechaven et libo yitpalel. If he's able to have kavanah, he should pray. V'im lav, if he cannot have kavanah, ayitpalel. Don't pray. Ela, rather, delo ad kirmar de reish yarcha. Maybe you did not mention Rosh Chodesh. Ba'atanya, but we learned in a Braita, Ta'a, you made a mistake. V'lo yizkir Rosh Chodesh, and you did not say Ya'lev Yavo. Ba'aravit, in Aravit. Ein machzirin oto. We don't have to go back and say it again. You know why? Mipnei sheyachol le'omra b'shacharit. Because you could say it in shacharit. B'shacharit, if you did not say Ya'lev Yavo in shacharit, ein machzirin oto. You don't have to go and say it again. Mipnei sheyachol le'omra b'musafin. Because you could go and say it musaf. Musafin, if you did not mention Rosh Chodesh and Musaf, ein machzirin oto, we don't make him go back. Mipnei sheyachol le'omra b'mincha, because you could say it in mincha. So basically, why in the world did you pray 2 times? Right? Amar le. So he answered back, Lav itmar Allah. Was it not said about it? Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan went and explained this braita, Batzibor Shanu. Right? We're talking about Batzibor, meaning that if you prayed with a tzibor, then you don't have to go back and say Ya'alev Yavo. Right? If you take a look here in Rashi, Rashi says, Batzibor Shanu, De'ein Machzirin, we don't make him go back, Mishum, because the Shama Le Mishaliach Tzibor, he hears it from the Chazan. Ve'ika Miktzat Hazkara, and therefore, you didn't completely forget it, because the Chazan says it for you. Aval B'yachid, but if you're praying all by yourself without a minyan, and you forgot to say Ya'alev Yavo, tzarich lachzor. In that situation, you need to go back and say it again. Ask the Gemara. So we've come to the last sugya, and we say, Kama yishheban ben tefillah letefillah. Right? We talked about a couple cases where you have, you have to stop between one tefillah and another. So we ask, how long do you have to wait? Rav Huna v'Rabbi Chia Chad Amar Kedei v'Rav Chisda, right? Chad Amar Kedei shetitchonen da'ato alav. One says in order that you should be able to regain your composure. V'chad Amar Kedei shetitcholel da'ato alav. And the other one says so that you should be able to be in the right frame of mind. Manda Amar Kedei shetitchonen da'ato alav. The one that says in order that you should be in the that you should be able to pray the right way. Dichtiv, as the pasuk says, V'etchanan el Hashem. Moshe says, and I prayed to Hashem, right, with like tachanunim, right, supplications. Amanda Amar, the one that says, Kedei shitcholel da'ato alav, that you should be in a frame of mind that you should really be able to yearn for Hashem and pray the right way. Dichtiv vayachal Moshe. Right, the pasuk says over there how Moshe began to pray in such a way that he almost like sickened himself. Amar Rav Annan, Amar Rav Annan to the name of Rav. Ta'a, you made a mistake. V'lo hizkir Rosh Chodesh Aravit. He did not say Rosh Chodesh in the evening. Right, you didn't say Yat Lev Yavo. Ein machzirino, to we do not make you go back and repeat Amidah. Lefisha ein Beit Din mekadeshin tachodesh ela bayom, because Beit Din only meets to sanctify the new month during the day, not at night. So in any case, it wouldn't even be Rosh Chodesh, even if the Beit Din were around, because they don't get together at night ever and do this. Amar Ameimar, Meimar said, Mistabra milta de Rav. Rav's teaching makes sense. Bachodesh maleh, right? When there are 30 days in the month, right? And aval bachodesh chaser, but when there's 29 days in the month, machzirinoto, we make him go back, right? The reason is because the 29th day at night, right? That's really that night is really Rosh Chodesh, right? But if it's the 29th at night and they're that month there are 30 days, then 29th is not really anyways Rosh Chodesh, so then you wouldn't have to go back. So Amar le Rav Ashi la Meimar, Rav Ashi said la Meimar, Michti, is this so? Rav ta'amak kamar, is this really Rav's reason that you're saying it? Mali chaser, mali maleh. What's the difference if it's 29 days or 30 days? Ela lo shna. Rather, there's no difference.